Hey girl, now I am back because I have to tell y'all what I have been reading for September and October. Okay. Oh, I am going to do the rating of 3 stars instead of 10. I feel like 10 is a whole lot. So three being the best and two being middle ground. One being okay. And reading is my happy place. It is my escape. It is the place that I go to find peace. It is the place where I go to attain knowledge. And I just love reading all of the words. Okay. And as you can see, I do like collecting books as well. This is just one bookshelf. I do have a goal to have a library room in my home one day. Needless to say, I had to tell y'all about my books for September and October. Okay. I was very aggressive unknowingly in June when I first got my what? When I first got my Kindle. I was very aggressive because the girlies, the cousins told me what to read, and I went crazy reading, right? Urban fiction just has me in a chokehold. I don't know if I actually want to get out because I love reading Black authors telling Black stories because your girl is very Black. Needless to say, that doesn't mean that I won't read other authors. I just really enjoy urban fiction right now. So let's just get into the list of the books that I have been reading. The books that I've been reading, I am going to give you fair warning. I will let you know what smut I am reading, but I will also let you know that this is a no judgment zone. Okay. My recommendations come based off of what I like, and you might like it, but you should read it for yourself. Because what I like, you may not like, and what you like, I may not. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with Lady Nisha. She wrote Losing Control. Losing Control was amazing. It was a love story between Marley and Cesar. And I might be saying that wrong, but regardless, I absolutely love this story. Also love slow burns, right? This book is definitely like a slow burn. It builds up to a lot of their personal things that they are facing. While Marley is very internal, she has been faced with something personally that is just a whole lot, that it really taps into your compassion and your understanding. And Cesar the same. You know, he comes off as being this like real cutthroat type of person, but Marley has a way of kind of molding that and bringing him out of that shit. That was Losing Control. So for Losing Control, 3 stars. Lady Nisha does have a follow-up book, which is Going Half on a Baby. While I thought that this book was good, it was literally only 100 pages and definitely felt like it could have been more. Um, but I get it. I understand. It was cute. Half on a Baby, I'm going to give it 2. It was real short. I wanted a little bit more. And I don't like to give away any spoilers. So in this book review, you're going to see a whole lot of me kind of talking high level and not really getting into the depths of the storyline because I want you to go read it for yourself. Next up was The Wife Before. If you like Verity, if you enjoyed a psychological thriller, and kind of like a back and forth banter to figure out who done it kind of deal. The Wife Before is that. Because I read Verity, I think for me, I did not like it as much. It was good, but I just did not like it as much. There were a lot of things that I felt like, oh, we could have went a little bit further with this. We could have figured something out differently for that. But again, I don't like judging artists' work. I just tell you what I felt about the book and if you should read it. If you're into a Verity psychological thriller, this is a bit scary, but still trying to figure out what happened, this is the book for you. I rated this one, I would give it like 1.5, maybe 2. Now let's go over to S.A. Cosby. If you have never read a S.A. Cosby book, stop, do yourself a favor, and go get his books. Okay, here are S.A. Cosby's books in no particular order. My Darkest Prayer, King of Ashes, which is what we're talking about, Blacktop Wasteland, Razor Blade Tears. I'm just gonna pause right there and let you know that Razor Blade Tears, 20 out of 20. Loved it. And was there another one that he had? I think, oh, All Sinners Bleed. All Sinners Bleed was good. It was very heavy, but S.A. Cosby is very unassuming. I did not think that he would be one of my top authors, but I absolutely love his writing style. I love how he weaves together the stories and tells the stories of his characters. Ashes, King of Ashes was a great read. It was about a family who had a crematory. Is that what you call it? A crematory, and how their lives got wrapped up into some dangerous territory, but also tells the story of their family. And so it's a bit of history of the family, and it comes current into them navigating those spaces. And it is the siblings kind of telling the story. So it's a good read. It's a very good read. Again, just not my favorite of S.A. Cosby. I would definitely give it 2.5 stars. Just how I felt. I thought it was good. I thought it was a great read, but I do think that his other books were way better. Next up is Fast. I loved this book. Okay. We were considering reading this book in our book club. We probably should have, and I probably should have pushed to read this book in our book club. The reason that we didn't is because we had already read a bunch of heavy books, and this was most certainly a heavy, heavy book. The book is split into two parts, and it follows the story and the life of Caprice, where she most certainly was let down in her life by family members. There was she had a young love that protected her, and you kind of see how all of that plays out. And then the second part is her in her adulthood, and how all of that kind of comes full circle, and she is able to make peace with her past. But the journey to the peace to the past, honey, was amazing. All right. Now, this is where we enter the no judgment zone, okay? When I tell you, come close. When I tell you, if you want to read some smut, you gotta read the Danger series. Oh, baby, you talking about smut with a great story, character development. Oh, honey, I was locked in. And when I tell you locked in, I'm talking about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Locked in. It was good. It was good. It was good. It follows the story of three brothers, book 1, 2, and 3. It follows the story. I don't know the order. Don't get me about the order, but it's Diesel, Diamond, and Declan. My book cousins told me that I was gonna love Declan. I didn't believe them, but baby, when I got done, I love me some Declan. That's all I'm gonna say. If you are looking for good smut, great storyline, with a little bit of raciness, get Danger series right now. It is so good. It is so good. 20 out of 20. I'm telling you. It was so good. It was chef's kiss. It'll probably always be a book series that I will read, okay? Now, and that is by India Carter. I'm telling you, go read it. Good smut, great storyline, and you will be like, child, still looking for Declan. Just kidding. Next book, Lost in Your Presence. This was the fourth book of the Evermore series, and I have got to tell you that I really enjoyed Evermore. I started Evermore, the series, I want to say maybe July, and I did the 3 books, but didn't finish the fourth book because, again, I got caught up in other series and other books and stuff. But this story was actually really good. It was a nice little twist between Najee, I think that's how I say it, and Oriel. Y'all, I'm not really good with the names, but I'm just listen. The books are good, okay? I love this storyline because it really starts in a very unassuming way, and then once the story keeps going, they kind of part ways, but then they come back and you see like this undoing, but then this redoing and them figuring out their own lives as well as they figure out their life and love journey. This was such a great love story with a little bit of conflict too. So if you're looking for that, I think that the Evermore series overall is a great series to read. This one was a great way to tie the bow on the series. Love in Your Presence, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 3. Only because I just enjoyed the story. I enjoyed how, again, it just tied up the entire series, the Evermore series. So it was good. If you have never read any books by Daniel Black, please do yourself a favor and go read his books. I read Perfect Peace. Y'all, I should have told y'all about Perfect Peace. Perfect Peace is set in the 50s, I believe. A mother and father have a child. They have 5 boys, and they end up having another baby boy, but they raise him as a girl up until a certain age. So you see like the undoing and how this impacts the family, it impacts peace. It is just, it was so gut wrenching, but it was also so well written, and it really had me captivated. I couldn't put the book down. So Daniel Black is definitely such an amazing author. Don't Cry for Me was such a good book that a father writes his last will and testament to his son. And this book completely captivated me because it made me think of my uncle who passed away and was just a very, in my mind, the most amazing, prolific person who ever walked this earth. And so reading this was so good because you see from the father's perspective of why he thought the way he thought, why he raised his son the way he raised him, and why he had the relationship that he had with his mother. So, with the son's mother. So, this is definitely a must read if you are looking for something that is heartwarming, something that will captivate you, but something that will um, pull at your heartstrings, but also change your perspective about a whole lot of things. Don't Cry for Me, 3 out of 3. Very, very good. All right, I'm going to jump to 107 Days by Kamala Harris. I was highly anticipating 107 Days. I had saw the marketing and the promo and all the conversations about it. I know there were some people that were like, no, I don't want to read it. They felt the timing wasn't great. Again, this is the reason why I kind of just stick to what I'm going to read and, listen to people, but also do what I want to do. 107 Days, in my opinion, was amazing. Okay. I have some people that I know that listen to the Audible because the audio version because Kamala does the Audible version of the book. I like to read the words myself, but I will say her perspective, seeing things from her way, seeing how this book tells the story from her lens and helps you understand the behind the scenes of everything. You do definitely call a lot of bullshit from the people around. But I loved her vulnerability. I loved her realness. I love how she shared how she felt in these moments that we watched play out. But also what I loved more than anything was her leadership style and how she appreciated her entire team and how she was very appreciative of the work that they had done, but also really speaking truth to power throughout this book that lands us to where we are as a society. So, if you have not read this book, if you want to listen to her narrate the book, either way, I would say it's definitely something that you need to read, listen to, and have on your bookshelf. 3 out of 3. I am going to move to a particular series, okay? This series is by Siobhan Latrice. My book cousins put me on. Now, they told me to start this series, and I was just like, y'all, I can't do this. But when I started it, I was very grateful that I started it. It's so Danger for me, Danger series is up here. Crenshaw Kings is here, right? That's the series, like the series, if you're looking for these books, that's what you're going to look under for Siobhan Latrice. He has 9 books in this series. They are all standalone, but they are connected in some way where it mentions the previous story before of a brother, and moving forward it kind of connects all of them in a way, not the storyline, but she does make reference to the brothers and the sister in these books. Okay, the last book and the end of her series was Banks, which is the baby girl, and that book came out recently. So if you want to start, which I think you should, you have to start with book number 1 is Marriage Favor. 2 is Wait for You, is Love Letters from a Gangster. 4 is Your Ex Ain't Me. 5 is Kiss It Better. 6 is Feelings for You. 7 is Save Room for Us. 8 is Love Most Wanted. And 9 is Anything Necessary for Her. Now, this series of books that I read, it was split up from different months because there are so many books in this series. You have to start with The Marriage Favor, okay? Is telling the story of the mom, LaSarah Compton, and her entire story of how she ended up with her sons, but also tells her love story with Prime. Okay. I don't like giving the stories away. So if you want to read it, child, you got to go down to the Amazon, to the Libby, and to the Hoopla and start reading immediately. Okay. The next book, which is book 2, which follows the life of Kahari and Couture. Now, when I started, I did not like Kahari, but he was all right. Okay. He was all right with me. Okay. Which is Love Letters from a Gangster. The brother LaQuay, it follows the story of LaQuay and his love interest, which is Scotland. Now, as I was reading, LaQuay and Scotland tend to be my favorite. I was like, yeah, I like them. I like them. Not that Kahari wasn't, not that LaSarah and Prime wasn't, but I just love the character development, the storytelling of Love Letters from a Gangster. Okay, on, which is where I picked up in September of the next book, which was Your Ex Ain't Me. Now, I'm going to tell you, out of this entire series, I'm going to say that Presley and Shakur were a great story. Shakur definitely got on my nerves, but it was a great story. Was it high up like LaQuay? Not really, but I mean, it was good. It was just too much back and forth for me, and you'll understand what I mean if you read it. Okay. I'm telling y'all, I was reading. Okay. Next book that I read, this was Crenshaw King's book 5, Kiss It Better. And this followed the story of Bashir and Annalicia. Now, let me tell you something about this story. Now, if we're ranking it, I'm going to say it was, I'm going to say at this point, reading until book 5, it was LaSarah Prime. That's okay. Just stick with me. LaSarah Prime, Brashear, then Kahari. No. Brashear, then LaQuay, then Kahari. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. After and then Shakur. Shakur was like last because again, I was just like, "Sir, what are we doing?" Book 6. Oh, this was Simone. Let me tell you something. This one right here, Yolanda and Simone, baby. I am definitely now. My rating is LaSarah Prime, LaQuay, Simone, Brashear, Kahari, and Shakur. That's where I'm at with it, okay? And I got 3 more books to go. Okay, so after book 6 and book 7 is Save Room for Us. This was the story of Asif. Okay, now let me just pause and say My book cousins definitely told me that Asif was their absolute favorite. And I will say that I do agree with them because Asif was just, now he is a brother, but he's a brother. I'm gonna just say that he's a brother, but I absolutely love Deceive. I love Deceive. Okay, so that story, and I know I'm not really telling y'all what's happening because the details, the books are just so well written that you gotta go read it for yourself. But it follows their story, and each story is different. And trying to explain the story to you, I would get lost trying to tell you. But all I'm gonna say is you gotta read this series. And now book 8 is this is the story of Unique and Cambria. I definitely like this story. Okay. I'm just gonna say, what do you call when you have a poly relationship? It's in question of if you should keep it or if you should let it go. That is the story of book 8. And I'm just gonna tell you it was good, okay? And the last book is Banks, the brother, sister. And I really it is an age jump in the last book because when you are introduced to the sister, she is very much like the little baby, little it is a few years that leaps. So and Banks' story is really sweet, it's really good, and it has so much conflict. All of these stories have a lot of conflict, which I absolutely love, but it's love in there. Like you get very frustrated with some of the brothers, but it's good. So my ranking is ah I'm still gonna leave Lacera, the mama and daddy at the top. I am going to put Asif, then I'm going to put Asif LaQuay, then I am going to put Asif LaQuay, Simone. I like Simone. And then I'm gonna put Bashir above Simone. Then Simone. And then who else I got? Shakur is at the bottom for me. Shakur, and then I'm gonna put Banks. Then I'm gonna put Unique and Kahari. So, honey, listen, I'm just gonna tell you, go read the books. They were so good. Overall, the whole Crenshaw Kings series, 10 out of 10. Now, Siobhan Latrice has another book called Applying Pressure. And when I tell you, you talk about somebody unhinged and absolutely insane. You want a love story that's absolutely unhinged, conflict, craziness, what the is going on? Read Applying Pressure. In one instance, you're like, oh, that's real love. The other instance, you're like, are you insane? So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 3. Just for the levels of it being just absolutely insane. This is an early Jaquel book. We read this for the book club. The girls did not like it. They did not like it because they felt that it was a little too ish. And again, I am not judging anybody's art. I like the book only because I know that this is the early work of Jaquel. I enjoyed it because because I read Capone, Capadonna, all those series. So to come back and read this as like an intro, I was like, I actually the girls didn't, but they definitely judged me. But this was a good read. It was an easy read, and you can definitely tell this was her early work. So if you're looking for a palate cleanser, and you want something that's just like easy to read, not being judgmental, just very light, and just like, oh, it was like 200 pages. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's Jack Well. I love her. Okay, let's get into the most insane series that I read these past 2 months. Parachutes. I'm first gonna say that I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I'm gonna give it 3 stars because as an author, Takira Allen had me punching the air. I still need somebody to talk about these books with because the levels in which I was in love with Van and Talia. Is that how you say her name? Van and Talia. I was in love with their love story. I was in love. They had so much push, pull, so much I love you, so much I'm leaving, so much I can't take it. While that had me captivated, it also frustrated me because a lot of the things that she was upset about in the book, I was like, that's bullshit because it's not even, I don't even think that's a reason to really be that mad. But okay. I will say, after a roller coaster, when I say this book series was a roller coaster, I was texting the book cousins like, what the is going on? Am I going to get off this ride or what? They were like, keep riding it, keep riding it. It pans out okay. What I will say is there was a lot of push and pull. There was a lot going on. I did want to just find Takira Allen and be like, girl, was this necessary? But it was necessary to the story. Some parts I just felt like, but I love the way she wrote their story. I love the way she wrote the conflict. I love the way she wrote the friends, even in the story as well. So I'm gonna give her a little pass. I'm gonna give her a little pass. That the last series that I read, and I'm currently still in this series and finishing up, and I've got to finish it by tomorrow, is Product of the Streets. Now, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 3, only because and I'm giving it that rating because have enjoyed I've enjoyed the gun toting, the drug smuggling, the knocking folks out, the shooting, the literally being a product of the streets as I read this book. Okay. It is hard for me to get out of the streets because I'm just so locked in. There is one more book in this particular like series of characters. And I think I'm gonna go into November finishing that 5th book and then I'll come back to it. But E. Bowser does a great job with, you know, telling this story, but also, baby, it's a lot of smut. It's a lot of gang activity, gang like activity, but it's a lot of smut. I am definitely a product of the streets, baby. I'm a product of the streets. I don't know what to tell you. When I read this book, hey, E. Bowser, I'm a product of the streets. I'm a product of the streets. And it's a very cutthroat type of book. There is a lot of like love, but this is not like a lovey-dovey romance kind of deal. This is very much product of the streets. This is very much it's street. I don't know no other way to tell you. It's a perfectly named book, written absolutely well, and I love it. My reviews of the book that I write is not as in detail as the video. So I try to do this every month that I read my books because I do read a book for the book club, but I really, really enjoy reading Black authors and telling y'all about it. So I don't think I'm leaving the urban fiction or smut world anytime soon. That is my review. If you want, that is my review for September and October. If you want to read this very simple one-liner, my rating of these books and August's books and previous books that I've read, then go to the Girl BU website, www.girlbu.com, and follow along with me as I continue reading and shedding a light and highlighting Black authors and different things that I'm reading because readers are leaders. And there is nothing better than cozying up to a nice little book and escaping for a little bit. Y'all, thanks for joining me, and I will see y'all next month. Oh, and let me know what y'all are reading. Drop it in the comments below. Let me know what y'all reading so we can swap books and we can talk about all things books. All right. Love y'all. Bye.